Hello. I decided to try to do another video today, and perhaps the biggest opening I haven't covered yet is the modern defense. Maybe if we don't count something like Slav defense or semi-Slav, which I maybe won't cover. So in the modern defense, black allows white to occupy the center with pawns on d4 and e4, and then attacks it later. So it's quite close to openings like King's Indian defense or Nimzovich defense, and also the Perk defense. It's really close to, and it often transposes to that. So, but in the modern defense, black delays knight f6 move, which is uh, seen in the Perk defense. So that's why white often has time to play c3, which kind of blockades this bishop on g7. And the modern defense is often called also the Robach defense. So for example, e4, g6, d4, bishop g7. And here some typical main lines are knight c3 with quick development, and then d6, f4, having this 3-pawn wall here, c6, knight f3, and g4. Or another common setup is to go for c4, to have this 3-pawn wall here. Then black plays d6 also, to kind of trying to slow this down. I mean, black can't just play knight f6 here, because then these pawns was just avalanche to the black's position. So knight c3, knight c6, bishop e3, e5, d5, knight e7. And here if white plays g4, that will be met by f5, and then g takes f, queen check, knight blocks, e takes f, black offers queen trade, queens are exchanged, and if knight b5, then king d8. Another idea is to play h4 on the third move, which Fischer played against Paul Benko. And the idea is to play h5 and weaken the white's kingside structure, perhaps taking on g6, or actually taking on g6 and just weakening this black's kingside. And there are also some unusual moves for white, which are maybe not recommendable, but I guess worth mentioning as a curiosity. bishop c4 on move 2 with queen f3 called the monkey's bum, and if white plays knight c3 first, then it's the monkey's bum deferred. And the modern defense can also go to the hippopotamus defense, which I guess would mean e6 from black, d6, even b6, and bishop b7, and then knights to e7, d7 by black. Or the Norwegian defense, also known as the North Sea defense, with d4, knight f6, and here e5, knight h5, and if white kicks the knight once more, it just fianchettos itself. And if white plays bishop e2, then black can also retreat the knight or play d6 with a pawn sacrifice. Here white can take on h5 twice, and then perhaps black will open the center. But if white plays a more tame line like knight c3, then black can go to the perk defense with d6, or play d5 rather unconventionally. And I'd like to look at one game which actually transposed to the perk defense, but it's also good to look at full games from openings. So this is between Kovalek and Suttles. Here already I think that black is a little bit more well coordinated. White just developed his center quite classically, but I don't know if he has enough leverage. I mean, he's not using the opportunity to use either c-pawn or f-pawn to create this huge pawn center. That would be more difficult to break, I think. Black has a double fianchetto, so white should have tried to somehow take advantage of that, the fact that it takes time, and just break through already, maybe with an early e5 or something like that, if he only uses 2 pawns. Blunting the bishop, and what's this bishop doing there exactly? It's a classical old school way of placing the pieces, but right here it loses to the modern school. Knight d7, very flexible move. And note that me making these kind of commentaries is maybe because I know the end result, so it's easy to say that you know, white played only bad moves and black played only good moves. But yeah. So b5, white takes, and black takes e pawn. So black sacrificed the b pawn for the e pawn, and now he striked in the center. And here maybe a dubious move, sacrificing the quality. The situation still might be equal for white. If he, for example, plays queen c3 or something, keeping an eye of that on that bishop and getting out of trouble with the queen, then I don't know what would have happened. But here white just took on e4, took on d7. I mean, okay, he took two pieces for the rook, so yeah, it wasn't sacrificing quality. But here white just doesn't have a plan. I mean, the bishop is stuck, so white's trying to free it with d5. Black plays e5. Loses the b pawn. Now white gets his bishop to safety, but what is it doing on h3? Exactly. Perhaps there was something better for white. And here black already offers the exchange of queens, seeing that he has a pawn majority and an open endgame where the rook might even be stronger than these two minor pieces. Here I think white should have avoided the queen exchange. And notice how the white pieces are kind of helpless here. Took 3 moves for white to win the c-pawn, and in the meanwhile black's pawns are rolling in a menacing manner, and here's where white resigned. So yeah, this was a rather unscientific approach, but I'm not trying to give any answers about the modern defense, rather just open eyes for all of the different variations that you can get. Thanks for watching.